It's been an awesome weekend. Super Eagles won. Yay! I was so excited. I did not watch it though because I didn't want to have IBP at all. But I heard they won this morning and I had to replay the penalty shootout. It was beautiful. Thank you, Super Eagles. Thank you for making us smile this weekend. Like, it's been amazing. Hello, welcome to the Bible Marriages Unfiltered from Sacred Unions and Desires. Today we'll be talking about Isaac and Rebecca. We'll be talking about Isaac and Rebecca. Most times people really don't think about Isaac and Rebecca. They only think about Jacob and Esau, their children. That's all the story they know about. But today, let's look at Isaac and Rebecca. Let's look at their marriage. Let's look at how they lived, how they died, the mistakes they made, lessons we can learn from Isaac and Rebecca. Remember that Isaac is Abraham's son, right? So let's look at Isaac. Isaac was a mommy's boy. Isaac was a pure mommy's boy, like his mother kept him close to her, right? His mother kept him close to her. And kudos to her. She also taught him because Isaac knew a lot about sacrifices. Isaac knew a lot about his father. He knew his father heard from God. That would be the reason why he did not run away and push the man down this mountain when they went to that mountain to make sacrifices and Abraham had to tie him up. Remember that Abraham was already old. He was 100, past 100. Isaac was a young boy. He was almost 15, 16, right? He was not a child when they went to that mountain, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So Isaac was a mommy's boy. Isaac didn't know how to fight for himself. That's why his mother saw Ishmael, taunting him and Ishmael's mother, Hagar, and the mother came to fight. Mommy's boy. They are mommy's boy in marriages that expect their mothers to come and fight for them. Instead of fighting for themselves, instead of speaking for themselves, they'll bring their mother to come and talk to their wives instead of sitting down and talking to their wives. It's kind of man that Isaac was. Isaac was actually traumatized by his father trying to kill him. He was actually traumatized, right? But the Bible didn't tell us so much about it. But if now you, Isaac was a traumatized child. He grew up a traumatized man too. Isaac was docile and laid back. He was a laid back guy. He was not an active guy. He was not a front runner, right? He was a laid back guy, but he was also very industrious. That guy had business sense like crazy. You see, he was the first person that started borehole business. He was opening wells, and those people, those enemies were coming. Instead of taking water, they will close the well because they want to take the well for themselves. He had a lot of business ideas in his head. Isaac was a meditator. The day Rebecca came, she saw a man who was meditating under the trees, and that was Isaac. Like most evenings, it was his nature. He goes out to meditate. He goes out. He was a thinker. But you know that most thinkers are either doers or not doers. Thank God he was a doer in his business, but in his marriage, he was not a doer. Okay. Isaac showed favoritism and manipulation. From when the children were born, his twins, he chose the first one. He became his favorite. He manipulated things so that he could give the first one everything. Why would he have two sons? And then when he wants to give his blessings, he wants to give it to only one son. That's manipulation and that's wickedness. You have two sons. You're supposed to bless the two of them if you're dying, not bless one because he brings game. The guy like meat. See wetin meat dey cost for men. A lot of men like meat. I think they came from Isaac, right? Because Isaac liked meat so much that was why he wanted to bless only one son and leave the other son. So what happens to Jacob? So Isaac showed favoritism, and we know that one of the things that kills the family more than anything else is favoritism. Isaac did not watch that. Isaac was a generational liar. Like his father. He also lied that his wife was his sister. The same thing. You see, that's how patterns appear in families, right? The father lied that his wife was his sister. Isaac followed the father's footsteps and lied that his wife was his sister. So he was selfish. He didn't protect Rebecca. The same way his father did not protect his mother. One would think that he would say, oh, since daddy couldn't protect mom, I would protect my wife, which is what you are expected to do. Do not follow the mistakes of your father. Do not follow the generational patterns of your dad that were not good in handling his wife. Your father was mean to your mom. He used to beat her. He used to shout at her. And you feel that's how to handle a woman because your mother was quiet and she wasn't talking. And you decide that's how you handle your own wife. That's generational evil. You're setting a pattern that will destroy you and destroy your own children. Do not follow a generational pattern that is not of good things. So, yes, he was selfish like his father. He became a generational liar like his father. He became selfish like his father. And that is why we tell fathers, watch what you do before your sons. Because whatever fruits they see you bear, whatever they see you do, they're going to learn it and they're going to start doing it. Isaac was also weak spiritually. Did you ever hear Isaac going to seek God for his family? Except for when his wife was barren. After they got those children, Otilo, Isaac packed his things. Except when God said, do not sow in this, do not leave this land, sow in this land. Right? So he was weak spiritually. He had no control over his sons. Imagine who Esau married. Esau married all the wrong women that their grandfather Abraham said they should not marry from. Because his father was weak, he couldn't control his sons. So let's look at Rebecca, his wife. Rebecca was kind-hearted, she was homely, she was beautiful. But she was also materialistic. Because her family wasn't that well to do, right? Because if you read the account, when they gave her the gold bracelets at the well, she ran to go and show her brother. And when Laban saw the gold, they said, who gave you? Bring him to the house. She was materialistic because she could have said no. She doesn't even know who this person is. The person is gifting you gold just like that. You collect. She actually married Isaac for his family's wealth. There's nothing you will tell me. She married Isaac for his family's wealth because she saw all the things and heard all the things that Eliezer said, and he said, this would be a good family to marry into. She had no relationship with God except for Ijoase. Is how women go after prophecy. She went after prophecy. Her babies were disturbing in the womb. She went to ask, who am I carrying? Who is this one? I'm not saying going to ask Ijoase is bad though for the children in your womb, but you're supposed to pray to God to tell you. Not look for a prophet or or seers to tell you, because that's where the trouble starts. That's where her problem started. They gave her the prophecy about those two boys, and she made up her mind, made her choice on which one would be her favorite. And from day one, she started treating her sons differently, which was one of the things that destroyed her family. She was manipulative. Rebecca was manipulative. She was deceptive. Like, have you heard about this woman? She manipulated everything from day one when those kids were born. She also showed favoritism and turned her sons against each other. She would always support Jacob, and Isaac would always support Esau. I don't even know how they lived in that house, right? She deceived her husband. Do you know that when she found out those two kids, what their future would look like, she did not tell her husband. She kept it as a secret. So she was even secretive in her marriage. She was secretive in her marriage, and it cost her a lot. She hid the information from her husband, because I think if Isaac had an idea of what God had said, maybe he would have changed his mind about showing favoritism to Esau, but she hid it, right? She covered up her mistakes with more mistakes. When she gave her son Jacob the food to give to the father, and the father ate, when she gave him food to give to the father, she also covered him up so that they would think he's Esau. So she was teaching her son how to lie. She was teaching her son how to cheat. How will those boys not be like that? How will Jacob not be a swindler when his mother was the chief swindler, right? She loved her sons more than her husband. Like, all she cared about was her son's inheritance. It was because that prophecy, that thing that was said, Jacob must manifest it. Whatever happens to Esau and Isaac, I do not care. So that's so much about Rebecca. That's the personality that Rebecca was. I guess you should know that there are a lot of things about Rebecca you shouldn't pick into your life. A lot of things about their marriage. Their marriage was a passive marriage. It was a marriage filled with deception. It was a marriage filled with lies. It was a marriage filled with manipulations. And that is not the kind of marriage you want to have. Because even though Isaac was a child of a promise, because he was a mommy's boy, there was a lot he didn't know about the covenant and how to run his family. Right. So this is Isaac. This is Rebecca. This was the kind of marriage they had. Now you see, second son ran away. First son carried soldiers. He wants to go and kill him. Imagine what they created in their home, because they were lying, manipulating, showing favoritism to their children in their marriage. So now we're going to be looking at 10 lessons. 10 lessons that you've learnt or we've learnt from Rebecca and Isaac. So these are the 10 lessons that we learned from Isaac and Rebecca's marriage. Number one, answered prayer still needs wisdom. You see, Eliezer prayed a prayer that let the girl that God has chosen come, right? The girl that will be right. And Rebecca came out. But when the family were telling him to wait small before you go, he said, God has answered his prayer. So his answered prayer didn't come with wisdom. He needed to have spent time to know the kind of lady this lady is, not just because she gave him water and gave his camels water. He was supposed to have watched her for a time before taking her home to Isaac, before bringing deception, manipulation, and the rest of it into their family. Two, beauty doesn't sustain marriage, character does. Rebecca was beautiful, but her character had flaws, a lot of flaws, and it destroyed her home, destroyed her family. So beauty alone doesn't sustain marriage. It's the character of the woman that sustains the marriage. Favoritism destroys families. We can't even overflog this one. Once there is favoritism, there's a problem in the family. Father, mother, stay away from favoritism. Stay away from it. It destroys the family. Manipulation is not a strategy. Manipulation is not a strategy. It was up to God to make each of those children become what they should be. They didn't need their parents to manipulate. They didn't need their parents to do anything about it. They would have left God to make those boys what he wanted them to be. So manipulation is not a strategy. There is unity in parenting. Unity in parenting is critical. Daddy and mommy must be saying the same thing whenever it comes to the kids, especially when it comes to disciplining them. There must be unity in parenting. They must agree on the same thing. Because if your children find out that both of you disagree on anything, or they will use the both of you. They will use your heads. Love without discernment causes damage. Isaac loved his wife. He loved Rebecca, but he had no discernment. He had no discernment to know what she was doing behind him, to know what she was up to. He had no discernment. Marriage doesn't eliminate character flaws. Marriage magnifies your flaws. You see those things you don't want to deal with in your life, and you want to marry, you're praying for God to give you his son or his daughter. When you marry, the devil will help you magnify those character flaws that you didn't work on. That's why we say work on yourself before you look for somebody's son or daughter to join yourself to and say you are married. Secrets fracture trusts. Secrets fracture trust. Once there are secrets in a marriage, it will fracture the trust. It doesn't matter how long it takes, it will fracture the trust. Couples must confront issues early. When these things start happening, starting from when Jacob said he was not going to give his brother food unless he gives him his birthright, his parents were supposed to sit them down and say, don't do that. He's your brother. If you have food, give him. He's hungry. He came out from the field. Don't do that. But they did not confront these issues early until it became bad and someone had to run away and miss being there. Jacob was away when his father died. He was away when his mother died. What a loss. Spiritual blindness affects family legacy. Spiritual blindness affects family legacy. Isaac was spiritually blind. All he was concerned about was his business and making wealth. But when he came to his family, he was spiritually blind, and he affected the legacy he laid on earth. So these are the 10 lessons that we've learned, or we can learn from Isaac and Rebecca from their marriage. And in closing, we say this. When you marry someone, open your eyes. Know the person's character. Know the person's flaws. Know if it's something you can deal with or something you cannot deal with. You as a man, you as a woman, work on your character before you come into a marriage. That is one. Two, women, beware of prophets. Beware of all those prayer houses you go to, because it was prayer house Rebecca went to that destroyed her marriage. If she didn't know anything about the future of those children and just gave birth to them, she would have loved her children and treated them normally, and there would have been no favoritism in the home, and the marriage would be intact. The children will not be destroyed. Imagine what happened to that family when Esau married from here, Jacob married from here. There was a lot of trouble here and there. Even when the parents were now dead, you see, the legacy they laid was trouble in their family. So learn from Isaac and Rebecca today that beauty without discernment, without good character, cannot sustain a marriage. So This is the end of today's episode. Hope you learned one or two things from Isaac and Rebecca. Why don't you sign up with us? Subscribe to our channel at Sacred Unions and Desires, where we talk about marriage and everything marriage. And next week, Sunday, I'm going to be bringing us a fresh episode of Bible Marriages Unfiltered. Remember to invite your friends and your family members to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Sacred Unions and Desires, and you'll be glad you did. Thank you so much. I love you. God bless you.